Well, hey everyone, it's Scott, and today what I'm going to do is show you another extraction process and technique that I had to actually learn because this one here, this actual image here, which is adorable, but the white and the kind of like furriness and stuff, sometimes that can become a problem. And also because a lot of you have said, Scott, I'd like some more extraction, examples and tutorials and stuff. So I'm going to try to do more of those as well. Even though I've done it before, I wanted to show you just different ways that I kind of have to manipulate because sometimes it's not always the same. It changes. And when you learn these techniques, you kind of sometimes have to think outside the box. So I'm just going to show you how I put this image together. And we started with this particular one here, which you can see it's a whitish but yet dingy white, grayish background. And it's a little harder to extract, a subject on this, especially with, white, right? But the thing is if I shot this on black, it would have worked a little better. It would have worked a lot better. But the thing is then I would have had a heavy dark line or, spread on the outer part here. So sometimes it's easier just to do it this way. But there is some challenges that come with this because we have, the fur and then we have the white, right? So there's not a ton there. So let me just show you what I did here and how we got it to that point. Now, if you just took the magic wand tool, I've got this set to tolerance 15. Watch what happens. It's not going to work, right? Because everything kind of just bleeds in and there's no way to do it. Even if I went all the way down to 5, it's still, see, then I'm going to have to click around and it's still, look at it's going in there. So it's not going to work. Okay, so that method, not going to work. Scratch it. All right, but here I went to the quick selection tool, okay? And I've got it, basically it's on the plus sign, which is basically adding to a selection, okay? But now all I'm doing is using the bracket keys to make this larger, okay? I'm using the bracket keys. And watch what happens though, okay? Normally you would go and you'd fill inside here like this, just like I'm doing, right? And I can click, I'm just gonna, instead of sometimes just keep running, you wanna click every now and then. So I just let off my mouse and then I go in here and I click and click and click and then see what happens. It went all outside the box, okay? Well, here's what I'm gonna do though. I'm gonna continue this out, okay? Let me bring that over a little bit. So that right now, basically I selected the entire image, okay? But the problem, or the thing that makes this work is because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically take away from that selection, which is actually then in turn going to make this the selection. I know, a little confusing, but I'll explain. So all I did was I'm holding the Option or the Alt key, depending on what you're on. And then from here, I'm just going to drag as I'm still holding, and it's going to grab it and snap it to the subject. Now I'm going to make this, my brush there. I'm going to make that a little smaller. I'm going to take my bracket keys and bring it down. And again, then hit the Shift. You can also go right up here, not the Shift key, I'm sorry, the Alt or the Option. And right here, you can also just go up here and do it manually. You can go back and forth, see? And then from there, just again, I'm holding that down right now, and I'm adding to, or I'm taking away rather, to the selection. Okay, now see it went inside there. I'm okay with that right now. Same thing here. Okay, but I'm gonna still do this right now up into this point. And then down here, I'm gonna do the same thing. Okay. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to the plus and I'm gonna go back in here and just click. Okay, like this. And like I said, there's no one set way of doing anything, especially in something a little bit more complicated like this, right? But I'm just kind of using the tools that I have and I'm just trying to get that selection as close as I can. I'm doing down here the same thing in the hand. And there we go. We've got that out here. Now I'm going to make my brush a little smaller by using the bracket keys. I'm going to click on that once. You can see this bounced out here. I'm going to hold down my Option or the Alt, or you can just, again, go to the minus and then just filling this in here a little bit. Maybe just one click there. That looks pretty good. Now up here, I got to fix that. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm holding the minus so then right here. From here, now, again, I've got this down here just like that. And click out. Right, I'm getting it close. I'm just, again, I'm on the plus though. I'm not on the minus. I'm adding to the selection again. And technically, really, I don't even have to worry about this. I'm just doing it for this demonstration because this is going to be cut off in the basket. Same thing here. If I wanted to, I hold the Option or the Alt key or the minus, whatever way you want to do it, and just bring it in here and then in here, and then boom, we've got a pretty close extraction. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on this, say okay, and I'm going to go down here to the mask. I'm going to add a mask. Boom, okay? Then what I'm going to do, rather than just go in here and start doing the refine mask, I'm going to drag this into my image, which I already have open. So let me just get rid of this for right now. This is the image that I'm going to be placing this into, or the baby into, okay? This is the wicker wagon egg hunt that we created, okay? So now I'm just going to click on this and drag it into here. Now, way too big, right? So we're going to go ahead and just hold the shift key down, and I'm going to make her a little bit smaller, obviously, right about there, we'll call it. And again, she's behind the cover-up layer, which if she was above, we'd be on the outside, but we're below that. Oops, I clicked on that. Let me bring this above, and you can see now we're there. Okay, and she's a pretty good size right there. I don't think I'd want to make her much bigger. That's pretty good. Slide her over a little bit. Now the foot's hanging out, so we're just going to go on the mask right here. Okay, click on that, and then go to your paintbrush. Make sure it's black. Make sure that your brush is big enough. I'm using the shift or the bracket keys again, and then just erase that there. You're not erasing, you're actually filling in the mask. And then from there, we're almost done. So if I zoom in here a little bit just to show you, that's a pretty good extraction just there. But I'm going to actually take it a little bit further. Okay, so I click on this. And then from there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the refine mask. So just go select and then refine mask. And now, let me pull this over so you can see. You can make this so you can see it on black, you can see it on white, or you can see it through to the layer that you're working on. I like to use that method. And then just, click anywhere in here and that'll go away. The first thing I usually do is go to the radius, bring this up just a little bit. And then from there, I start to go around the image. Now you see in here, we're gonna have to knock that out, and I'll get that in a minute. But let's just go ahead and just start moving this around a little bit. And you can see it's pretty good before I even did this, but I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. And then let off, and then let it do its magic. Okay, and then in here, same thing. See, just fill it around, let go, let it do its magic. Same thing here and there. Okay, did a pretty good job. But here's the thing, I can go ahead and adjust the contrast a little bit if I want to make that edge a little bit sharper. Okay, let me pull it up a little closer for you. See, let me pull this down. You can see up in here, look at the nice little fine areas that we've done. This here you can see through, that looks pretty good. And again, I can come back in here and do this if I want to and see if I can get a better extraction. And then you can shift the edge, which sometimes I do. See, that's bringing the edge in, this is bringing the edge out. See, if I thought I took too much, and you can just leave that. See? So that's that. So, okay, so we've done that. Let's say okay, and I can always come back and modify that more if I want to, but let's just say that looks good. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the main image. I'm going to go back here to my selection tool, go to Magic Wand tool, and I'm going to go ahead and click there. And then I'm going to go to Select, Modify, Feather, and then 0.5. I'm going to use that as my feather, and then just hit Delete. Then I'm going to go ahead, deselect, select, deselect, or you can just use the shortcut, and you're done with that part, okay? And that's pretty much it. That's all there is to it, to creating the image that I created for this digital creation. You can see that right there. That's how simple it is, and that was white on white, or dingy white on white, right? And we were able to get a nice extraction running around there. Now, I would come in here and tweak it a little bit more, and I'll show you what I would do here. Let's say here, this edge is a little, got a little bit of a shadow on it. Maybe I want to lighten that up. Well, I would go over here to my Dodge and Burn tool, right? I'd go to the Dodge, midtones. Let's try 40% on the exposure. And then I would just come in here and just lightly touch this. See? And then we're just being able to make that a little softer, but also make it blend a little bit more with the background. Because again, if it was shot in here, we not necessarily would have a shadow on there, but we did because it was a little bit darker of a background. See, and it just helps it blend. That might have been too much. Just a little bit in there. And that's pretty much it. That's all you have to do. So again, I just wanted to walk you through the process again of an extraction. Again, I'll try to do more of these because I know every time it's a little different and I just kind of take it for granted sometimes. But this is one simple way to do it. Of course, you do need a full version of Photoshop to use this technique. Most all of even the older versions have it. I've had this version, I think, or the version I think it came out was like CS3 or CS4. Yeah, you can pretty much use it with any of those versions and then on up. And it does make it a really easy process to extract an image. But that there, how I showed you to basically first make the entire image as like you're selecting it, and then just start adding back to it. And then you can come up with an extraction just like that. All right, so once again, I'm Scott, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch this. And if you have any questions, let me know, of course, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Take care.